We're going to be talking about Chapter 4, which is all about Trump leads. So if it's your first time tuning in for our card play discussion group, Burmese Mountain Dog. All right, there we go. Knew it was one of those big ones. So if it's your first time turning into card play technique discussion, we are working together as a team to get through this book, Card Play Technique or The Art of Being Lucky. It's pretty like intermediate level text about just card play. It's really great. I've been enjoying it a lot. We are all the way up to Chapter 4. We've had a slight delay, but we should be back on schedule now. We're doing Chapter 4 today and Chapter 5 on Wednesday. So it's been about 4 days on each chapter, and we've been TT wants to make Leia's Cat a sponsor. We can make that happen too. Multiple sponsors maybe. Send me a message, TT. So we organize all our discussion on group, Discord so that we can continue the off stream, and then we try and do a couple of problems on stream. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start getting into why would you ever want to lead trumps? So this book is pretty interesting because it takes a technique and addresses it from the declaring side of view, and then it switches point of view over to the defensive side and talks about how you can get around those things. TT wants to be sole sponsored? No, I don't think that's going to work. What we're talking about this time is like, when is it appropriate to lead trumps? When I was first starting to play bridge, I was like, why would you ever want to lead trumps? Like these are your power cards. And this is something I've gained a little bit more appreciation for, but it was really nice to read this chapter and have it kind of go through a lot of the reasons explicitly and the rationale behind why you would want to start attacking trumps. And the basic idea behind all of this is we want to stop the declarer from doing things that are bad for us. And one of the things that they can do that's pretty bad for us is getting to rough their losers. So if we lead trumps, we are taking away the declarer's ability to like rough those losers. Not always. It only comes up in some situations. This is sometimes helpful, but this is a point that was being brought up in the Discord discussion, which is that this is a situation that comes up, but it's not. But like what you shouldn't be doing is thinking to yourself, well, I don't know what else to do, so I might as well lead a trump. You should have a reason for leading trumps because sometimes it can be absolutely disastrous, but there are other times when it is 100% the best thing you can do. So we're going to be talking a little bit about how we can recognize which times are which. And one of the problems that leading trumps can help us solve from like our defensive point of view is that sometimes, again, like I'm trying to like put as many caveats on this as possible because we don't want to like run out and lead trumps on every hand. These situations are not rare, but they're not common either. So if you have a bunch of honors in other suits, sometimes the safest lead that you can make from your hand to prevent disrupting what you actually have is to lead this trump. So there are some good reasons why we might want to do it, but one of the biggest is we want to mess with the declarer's ability to make things bad for us. So some basic ideas about when we might want to lead trumps are if it looks like from the bidding that the declarer might be looking for roughing value in dummy. And that doesn't mean that on every holding, like every time your opponents are bidding like just a suit contract that they're looking for roughing value. Sure, like they're playing in suits because they would like to rough things, but what we're talking about here is something a little bit more specific. So an example of this might be if the declarer bid two suits, like they show they were 5-4, they show they were 5-5 in two different suits, and then the dummy chose one of those suits. That probably indicates that they're short in the other one. And so what the declarer might be looking for at that point is a way to get roughing value in the dummy by roughing that long second suit that they have. So that might be in a case where where we get a sense that the declarer is looking for this roughing value. Another time might be if you can tell from the bidding that you and your partner have more points, but you've still ended up on the defensive side of this auction. So in that case, what might be happening is like the opponents have a pretty distributional holding, and they're hoping to get value in cross roughs. So if they're hoping to cash all of their all of their trumps separately, then a really powerful thing you can do is not let them do that. You can try and take a tempo away from them by leading a trump. So, but like on the opposite side of that, there are times when like leaving a trump from your hand is going to be a really bad idea. One of those times is that if you have a singleton trump, it's almost always going to be a bad idea for you to lead it. And then kind of on the opposite side of that is if you are leading, if you have, say, like four trumps and you suspect that opponents are in like an 8 card fit, if you have a whole bunch of length in the trump suit, it's probably also not a good idea for you to lead those trumps. And these two things work together. The trumps are the trumps because the declarers likely have most of them. It's not always the case. We have a lot of Burns LL stuff going on here. Did I sign a binding contract? No. But we do have a contract of sorts. Um, so the basic idea here is, so like the declarers are going to have more trump length than you do. And as a result, if you are really short in trumps or you are really long in trumps, it likely means that the opposite is true for your partner. If you have a singleton, your partner might have four. And if you lead that one singleton, what you could end up doing is really disrupting partner's holding. You could give a declarer a chance to actually guess what the shape is, make a really informed decision there, and you might be able to turn a partner's holding, which is really nice with like four trumps, into no tricks. So you want to be wary of like how the trump shape is distributed. If the shape is a little bit more even, say it's like 5-4-2-2, and like you know that you and your partner are both 2-2, then like it's a little bit less likely that you're going to be able to the leading a trump like makes a little bit more sense if like that's something you're considering doing. But leading a singleton trump is probably a bad idea. Leading a trump when you have lots of them is also probably not a good idea. So if you've managed to decide that you actually want to lead a trump, then we have to figure out what trump we want to lead. So there are a few different examples that CPT goes through. But one of the major points that you're talking about is what we're trying to figure out is a way that we can preserve communication between our defensive hands. And this is tough because we don't know what our partner's hand actually is. But we have to make guesses and give opportunities for our partner to have cards. This is like a big shift in my thinking, like as I've been reading more of this book, which is like when you're looking at things from a defensive side, like you don't know what you necessarily have, but you have to give partner a chance to have those things. So if you're looking at your trump holding, you've got three of them. Say you have ace XX, like ace 4-2. What card should you actually lead from these trumps? Well, like on first view, like if you lead the ace and then you play a low card, you've managed to draw two trumps from the draw out four trumps from a declarer. That's pretty good. But where you often see the most benefit is when you can get that third trump out. So, for example, say the trumps are split 5-3-3-2. You and your partner have you might suspect that there's an 8 card fit. You can see three trumps in the dummy. You can see three in your hand. And you're hoping the partner is sitting on those two. If you lead a low trump instead, if partner is holding on to a high one, or even if they're not, we are going to be able to give ourselves the best chance to get back on lead. We draw out one trump immediately, then the next time trumps get led, we get to win the trump, and then we get to lead it again. So instead of getting just two draws of trump out, we're actually ending up emptying the dummy. So if you have like these ace XX or king XX holdings, it's going to be a good idea for you to go ahead and lead a low trump in these cases. And the idea here is we want to give partner a chance to lead back to us. We want to make sure that we're preserving these holdings. Like if we're holding three, partner might only have two. So if we pass it over to them, if we like play our ace and then lead a low one, we're taking both of partner's trumps. We're not giving them a chance to lead back to us. We're not giving us a chance to actually take care of this. So we want to make sure that we're giving partner the best opportunity, even when we don't know what they have. And this, the next point, like if you're holding queen XX, notice that we were talking about aces or kings. But if you have queen third, this is a little bit trickier. It's probably really dangerous to lead from these because you have natural trump length. Your queen can be protected, potentially, um, and you don't want to, if you lead a low trump here, what you could end up doing is turning your, just completely losing your queen. Um, you want to give yourself the best opportunity to take a trick with that queen. And that means in this case, you probably don't want to lead trumps, even if it looks like it's the best option. You probably need to take a second look and find somewhere else to go. Um, Finally, like say you have like an honor holding. So like say you're looking at like Jack 10x. Uh, you don't really know what partner might have. They might have a singleton, they might have a doubleton, but what we want to talk about, what we want to be thinking here is a way to promote one of our honors. We have Jack 10. It would be fantastic if there were a way for us to turn that Jack or a 10 into a guaranteed winner. Say partner is sitting on like the King of Trump. They have a singleton, they don't have much else. If you just play out your honor, if you just play out the Jack or 10, it's going to get eaten by partner's honor, and then you're not going, and then it's going to get eaten by partner's honor, which is going to lose. Then the player is going to be able to lead back through your position, um, potentially, and you can end up taking no tricks here. That was not very clearly stated, but the basic idea here is, but like it's the same idea. Like we want to make sure that we're preserving the opportunity to keep communication lines open. If we lead low instead, that gives partner a chance to have a high card. Then they can play, like, say, the king. The declare wins with the ace. And then when the trumps come out the next time, we are able to force out the queen, and now our 10 has been, our jack has been promoted. So this idea of trick promotion is something we really want to be aware of when we're playing with, uh, when we're on the defensive side. Okay, so one of the last concepts that we talked about that got discussed in this concept in this chapter is the idea of like forcing defense, and this is talked about in. They give a couple of examples, but the basic idea. I keep saying basic idea. The idea here is when you have lots of trumps. Say you like it's a 8-card fit from opponents and you have 4 of them. Even a 9-card fit from opponents, you have 4 of them. If you can get the declarer to spin their trumps, then you can end up in a position where you have more than the declarer does, and that's going to be an advantage. If you can force the declarer to spin their trumps on roughs, then you are going to be able to maintain the length of your own trump suit. So I have an example from the book here. South has managed to get to a 4-spade contact, and we are sitting in the west seat here. And what we want to think about here is what should we be leading, and how can we take this concept of how can we make this concept of forcing defense work for us? I want to give everybody a few seconds to think about this. But what do you think is the best card? Like, let's figure out question number 1. Do we want to be leading trumps in this situation? And then once, let's start there. Think about that for a little bit and let me know what you, let me know where you're at. Okay, so we're talking about this force and defense. We have this lengthened trumps. We've got 4 of them sitting here. They don't look particularly impressive, but what we want to try and do is find a way to force the defender to spend their trumps. We have the advantage here. We've got double dummy view going on, but we can tell that the declarer is really short in diamonds. And you can see from our side that our diamond strength is actually really nice. So we want to avoid leading trumps in this situation because we've got 4 of them. We have this length. And what we want to do is start by leading our diamonds. Say we play our queen. Oh, thank you so much for the follow, Monkey 2020. So we're going to play the diamonds, and then the declarer has a choice at this point. They can cover, and they know that they're probably going to lose. or they can duck. And honestly, it really doesn't matter what they do. The queen either holds or the ace, but we're going to win one trick here. But let's assume that that declarer ducks, because they want to try and make their king a winner. So they've gone ahead and ducked. Your queen gets the hold. So now you play a diamond back again. This is forcing the same choice. North is going to continue. The declarer is going to continue to duck. Your partner ducks underneath you, and now we're able to force the declarer to roughen their hand. They're going to have to spend one of their spades in order to actually take this trick. So then, they've got this 5-2 split going on. They're probably a little bit wary of drawing trumps. When they're looking at their plan, they've got to establish another suit before they can keep going. And looking at their hand, they've got a really nice club suit. So remember, at this point, we've played 2 rounds of diamonds. We're now in South. So South is going to go ahead and play those clubs. That's going to give partner a chance to go ahead and win with the ace. And then they're going to lead a diamond back again. So at this point, the declarer is either forced to let us win a diamond trick, or they're rough again, and now we have 4 trumps down to compared to declarer's 3. This puts us in a really nice advantageous position. So if you can force the declarer to spend their cards, spend their trumps, then and you have lots of length, this is going to be a really nice defensive position. So if you have an opportunity to try these things, like you're looking for like a lengthen your trump suit in order to take on this, in order to get this advantage. Okay, so we've talked about some of these concepts. Let's actually try and put them into practice with a couple problems. So South has opened the bidding with a nice preemptive 4 hearts here. And everybody else decides this is too rich for me, and they pass. What do we want to lead from this hand? DT, you're asking if declare ducks diamonds twice on the last hand? Let me go back really fast. If they don't pitch a spade here, then you're going to win 2 diamonds off the top, and then you have a heart trick and a club trick. So you're going to get to take your 4. We only need to take 4 tricks total. So it's not to yeah, they can also lead back the hearts. There's lots of it's a little bit tough to see this in this format. I'm trying to do something better, but you can see that we need to manage to take 2 tricks out of our diamond suit, and the way that we're going to do that is we can either take 2 tricks out of the diamond suit, or we can take 1 trick out of the diamond suit, and then we can get a rough trick. We're able to get a rough with our long spades, but the goal here is to try and get to 4. We can see that we've got 3 aces, so we just got to come up with 1 more. Okay, so South is on 4 hearts. We're sitting in West. We have to figure out what we're leading against, and we have some options. It's going to give everybody a few more seconds to think on this one. Then we'll start a discussion. Feel free to take a stab in chat if you if you're feeling brave. Okay, got 1 vote for the singleton diamond. Seems pretty reasonable. All I can think about is how to get the beer. Oh, or my beer. Yeah. Jack's Abbey post shift. It's been my beer of choice for a couple of months now. Okay. So if we're looking at this hand, we've got natural trump length. Okay, Masai was also showing up with the five of diamond lead. And I think that's pretty reasonable. That's where I was starting on this. But I think that there's sorry, excuse me. What we should be looking for is we got to think about where our tricks are coming from. So they're at four hearts, and we want to try and our goal here is to try and take four tricks. With this heart holding, and we're sitting above the eight hearts that we're assuming are in south, that gives us a pretty good chance to probably take at least two heart tricks. Ace of clubs is a third, so what we're really looking for is a way to find that fourth trick. Because we have this natural trump length, we probably don't need ruffs. Like we're gonna get to take our trump, we're gonna get to take a couple of trump tricks, whether it's just because of natural length or it's by roughing. So leading the five of diamonds is like it's definitely tempting. It's where I was thinking for this problem too, but I don't think it gains you that much because we're gonna get those heart tricks anyways. So if we're taking a look at our oh, thank you so much for the follow, Zibuton. Let's take a look at someplace else where we might be looking to lead. We don't want to waste our trumps, and we probably don't want to disrupt that club holding. So that kind of leads us that with the spade suit. If partner is going to be able to help us out at all, and we know that the other two hands at the table probably have some points in them. I mean, we're only looking at 10, and south is preempted pretty heavily. We're hoping that Queen of Spades. So I think that there's a better option if we're going to come out of the spades. In an ideal, like that queen is a little bit protected by length here, and we want to give opportunities for partner to have something. Yeah, I think a low spade is probably where we want to be here. If we lead the four of spades, we're giving partner a chance to fill out that honor sequence that we don't really know what's happening there. We're not disrupting our tennis with the queen 10 that we have going on. And we're still preserving like our other opportunities. If partner is going to be able to get on lead at all, and then they can help us out a little bit by leading back towards our clubs, we can probably be in pretty good business. So that queen 10 fourth gives us maybe a chance to develop a trick even. So like say you play the 4, partner comes out with the king and then declare covers with the ace. Now our queen is high. And then we should have asked about the depiction over the declare, for instance. Yes, so we're in west because we're an opening lead. So I didn't make that explicit, but we have to be in west for us to be an opening lead with south. But you're absolutely right. The fact that we're over to declare is the reason why we're able to count those heart tricks the way we are. If we were sitting underneath them, if we're not on opening lead, that's a completely different scenario. You're absolutely right. Okay, so to recap here, we had this lengthen the trump suit, and then we also had we can count potentially up to 3 tricks in our hand, so we're looking for just a way to find a fourth. And if we're looking at the potential, that spade suit looks the best for being able to convert that extra trick and hopefully, you know, place partner with an honor to establish. Okay, let's take a look at one more example. So this time the auction is 1 heart, 3 hearts, 4 hearts. So south is the declarer, and we're on opening lead, so we're going to be sitting in west again. And we want to figure out what we want to actually lead here. Give everybody a little bit of time to think about this. The 1 heart, 3 heart, 4 hearts. The 3 heart bid is a limit raise showing 10 to 11 points in 4 card heart support. And we're playing 2/1 in this system, so we should have a 5. It should be a 9 card fit you're looking at. Okay. Can give everybody about 10 more seconds to think on this one. Got one vote for Trump. Okay. I was going to be okay, so now that you've decided on Trump, which one? But between the four or two, I don't think it's really going to make a difference. Okay, so I'm going to agree with Dr. Dogman here. I think that our best lead is probably going to be a Trump, and there are a few reasons for this. We know that the suit is going to be split 5-4-2-2 from this auction. So what we're also expecting is like, so we know that South has at least a 5-card suit. That also means they have a suit that's short. They have to have a 2-card suit or a 1-card suit. They're also looking at, let's see. So they're looking at that shortness. We also know that there are points, a good number of points going back and forth between the two hands. We're looking at only 6 points ourselves. We don't have that many opportunities. Our holdings are also pretty sketchy. Leading the spades is pretty unappealing. Leading the diamonds is seems a little off. There's not a whole lot of opportunity we have that we could like where we could give partner things, but we're also unlikely to get. Let's see. We're also unlikely to have to actually like really disrupt partners holding in any ways. Like we're not like if we had a singleton, like if we could tell that the trumps were split 1-3, it would probably be pretty bad for us to lead that singleton towards partners 3 trumps. We could be ruining their position there pretty badly. But with the 2, there's almost nothing that they could have where this is actually a bad thing. If they have like king doubleton, then like their king is either going to score a trick or it's not, depending on where the ace is. Whether we lead the trumps or opponents do is not really costing us anything. And in the best case scenario, you get to disrupt the tempo that the declarer is trying to set by robbing them of an extra trick that they are going to get to take anyways. Okay, so this has been a pretty interesting one. I am going to be trying to work on incorporating some of these concepts a little bit better into like my actual play, but I think it's been pretty good chapter. It was nice to have like a lot of these concepts worked out. And if you head over to the Discord, you can see there's been a little bit more discussion from a couple of other